So track 3, My Story. And yes, you may have realised just then that I can't say the number 3. I end up saying 3, like as in F-R-E-E. Because unfortunately, I'm unable to pronounce words with TH. I thought, let me just get this out in the open now so nobody can laugh at me later. And yes, I also say laugh instead of laugh, because I'm from down south. You might have also realised that, right, you've got this mixtape now. You've listened to track 1 and thought, yeah, okay, I'm feeling this. You listened to track 2 and thought, okay, I see where this is going. But who is this guy? Why should I listen to KoD? What gives you the right to speak to me? Did any of those questions just go through your mind? You can admit it, don't worry, I'm not going to get upset. I would think just the same way. So since you might have thought those questions, would it be okay if I spent track 3 just telling you a little bit about myself and what has given me the right to bring out this mixtape? Is that cool? Alright, let's go. So for me, it all started over 20 years ago in a hotel car park with my parents in the back of my dad's Honda Accord. Okay, I'm joking. It never happened like that. I don't know how it happened. And in fact, you know what? I don't actually want to think about how it happened either. So let's just fast forward 18 years to when I started uni in 2010. It is the 19th of August. And if you were with me that morning, you would have been travelling with your mum to go and collect your A-level results. And my mum was excited because I think she remembered 2 years prior when I did so well in my GCSEs. But this day was different. You know when they say history repeats itself? Well, I guess they weren't talking about my exam results that day. When I got to my college gates, I swiftly ran inside and grabbed the brown A4 envelope with my name on it. With both hands, I quickly ran back to the car. It felt like time froze. Every drum of my heartbeat sounded like a stampede of elephants trying to burst out of my chest. My palms were sweaty, knees weak, arms were heavy, something like what Eminem said. My mum looking in my face anxiously, waiting for me to open a letter. My head spinning, emotions were roaring, knowing that my whole fate was about to be decided this morning. See you when I get home, my mum said, crying, as she dropped me off and headed back to work. That was hard for me. I don't know about you, but one of the worst experiences for me is to see my mum cry, especially knowing that I was the cause. There was silence in the house. My siblings would have already been at school and my dad was at work. The house was empty, but not as empty as I felt in my heart. When Amarian said that he had an icebox where his heart used to be, that was nothing, because I had a flipping freezer there. You see, my then girlfriend at the time broke up with me 9 days prior to that day. If someone has ever broken up with you from being in a long-term relationship, then you know how it makes you feel. So I was already low. And getting my A-level results back that day, seeing that I failed, took me to a depth further than I could bear. I'll be real with you. I started crying. I had no girlfriend, and now there was no uni. I was sat by my phone going through the clearing process. Phoning universities, literally begging them to let me in. Sorry, Mr. Damali, we haven't got a space for you. We just filled our last spot for sports science. I'm really sorry, KoD. Sorry, Mr. Damali, if you try again tomorrow, we might be able to help you. This is hopeless, I thought to myself. No one wants me to go to their uni. Yes, some said they'll call me back if they can do anything, but let's be realistic. That's probably something their boss said to tell people just to be kind with the whole rejection. Then my phone rang. It said unknown number. Oh my gosh, I thought, this is it. I never usually answer private numbers because I don't want to hear that "what's up" from a friend at the other end of the line. But this time I thought I should answer it. I was so excited. Is it Brunel, I wondered? Or maybe even Birmingham. Or could it have even been Cambridge? A guy can wish. My emotions were running wild. I felt my body elevating to cloud 9. This is it. I could just taste it. I answered the phone in the most posh British accent that I possibly could do. Hello, KoD speaking. How can I help you? However, the voice at the end of the line was not a university, nor was it a friend impersonating Scream. It was my younger sister at a police station. KoD, help me! Come get me out! No way! How could this be? My sister arrested and using her only phone call to call me. Of course, she couldn't phone my parents. They'll go absolutely sick. So as her older brother, it was all on me. At that time, I literally felt stuck between a rock and a hard place. On one hand, I was desperate to get on the bus to go to Catford police station and get my sister out. But on the other hand, I just wanted to stay by my landline in case a university called me, and I just didn't want to miss it. I felt hopeless. It made me sad knowing that my sister was in a police cell. It was a place that I just knew too well. In fact, that time in 2010, I was on track for the first time since I was 15 years old not to have been in one. What would you have done? Sacked off uni and gone to the station support and get your sister out? Or would you have let her stay there while you selfishly thought about your own needs? As I was thinking through this whole process, my phone rang again. It was Manchester Metropolitan University, MMU, giving me the admission to start uni in September. On September 22nd, 2010, I hugged my family, I said bye to my cat, and I set off with my mum up the M6 to go to uni. I was so excited, man. You see, I seen American Pie, so I couldn't wait to get my Stifler on, literally. Nah, just kidding. This ain't that kind of CD. But yeah, I was so excited because I'll get to have my independence. I'll get to start a brand new journey in my life and all them other perks that came with going along to university. But then my mum took exit 16, although the roadside said there was another 35 miles until we got to Manchester. And this is where my university took a turn for the worse, pun intended. I thought I was going to the big city of Manchester, which would have been great being from London. But instead, I ended up in a little town called Crewe. So at the beginning for me, I found it very, very hard to adjust. You know, each morning I would wake up and look out the window and see cows and sheep. I was only used to ever seeing them on my plate. I mean, I thought I left behind the beef with the man them in South London, but now I kept running into beef every day in Crewe. Running to the bus stop like, yo, sorry, excuse me, Mr. Cow, I'm late for my lecture. So yeah, I found it very difficult to adjust, and I even considered dropping out. And I just couldn't take the smell as well, man. Why was I even in the country for in the first place? Socially, I felt uncomfortable too, because I didn't feel like I could relate to anybody. And academically, it didn't get much better either. I remember getting my first paper back. I remember being so excited knowing that I put so much effort in. I even used a thesaurus and everything to make sure I put colourful words in to really bring the essay to life. So when I got my paper back and saw that my result was a borderline pass, I was devastated. I didn't reference. But how can I blame myself? I didn't even know what referencing was. I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe this whole uni thing isn't for me. Maybe someone like me shouldn't be here after all. I mean, literally none of my friends from home went to uni. I was the only one. I thought maybe I should just go back to South London and join them. Who was I kidding? I came to uni through clearing, so I shouldn't have even been there in the first place because on paper I'm not academically clever. But then one day, it all changed. One day, I thought, you know what? I'm sick of this. I'm sick of just settling for less. Have you ever had that feeling where you're just sick and tired of just being sick and tired? You know that feeling when you're tired of being average, when you know you're destined for greatness? And then that day, I made a change. Fast forward to today, I went on to surprise the nation by graduating. But not only graduating, but graduating with a first-class honours in psychology and getting published in the field of motivation and self-belief in the process. In the largest student election to that date, I was elected and became vice president of my students' union and governor of my university, which is one of the largest educational institutions in the whole of the UK. But that was, you could just say, domestically. Because on a national scale, I was then elected director of the National Union of Students, one of the biggest student organisations, not even in the UK, but on the planet, representing and shaping the student experience for 7 million students across the UK. I was a keynote speaker at the 12th Annual Psychology Student Conference, as well as the keynote speaker at the BCO Conference, which is the British Conference of Undergraduate Research, after presenting there 2 years prior. BCO is literally a conference where the brightest and cleverest undergraduate students in the UK come together to share their practice and their research. I was the winner of the Enterprise Futures 2015 Postgraduate Conference, which saw me win a cash prize, office space in Manchester, and publicity and support from the three leading Manchester universities, being Manchester Met, Salford, and the University of Manchester. And then the following year, I was on the judging panel for the 2016 conference. Outside of education, over the past 2 years, I have been a full-time entrepreneur and I've travelled the world to places such as America, Australia, and various countries across Europe. Last but not least, I have been featured on the BBC, speaking live to millions of viewers on channels such as BBC News, BBC Breakfast, and various radio stations such as Radio 1 Extra, BBC Radio Stoke, and BBC Radio 5 Live. But don't say any of that to impress you. I say that to impress upon you that if I can do it and have all those achievements, then you can definitely too. Like I said to you, before uni, I was just a heartbroken kid running around Catford, South London with the mandem and constantly finding myself in the Metropolitan silver bangles. Again, like I said to you, I came to university through clearing. So on paper, I'm not academically clever. I shouldn't have even been at university in the first place. However, all I did was make a decision. I knew that I had to change my current situation in order to reach my final destination. I knew that I had to apply a different strategy, have a different mindset, have a different vehicle to allow me to get there. And that is exactly what I'm going to share with you on this mixtape. I'm going to show you how you can move from your current situation in order to reach your final destination. I'm going to show you where you can go from where you are right now to achieving and becoming whoever you want to be at uni. Because at the end of the day, success leaves clues. If you want to be a banging singer, caressing eardrums around the world, you might want to listen to Beyonce. If you want to dominate the football pitch and tear up defenders left, right and centre, it might be a good idea to learn from Lionel Messi. So if you want to be able to go to uni, smash it academically and become whoever you want to be, well, you might want to follow somebody who has. And I say that very humbly. I say that very humbly because I want you to do the same. I'll see you in track 4.